What is going on, everybody? It is Tuesday, so that means I am over here live on Syndicate Sports Detroit for Touchdown Detroit Lions. My name is Nick Harkson. How we doing today? How is it going, Lions fans? How you feeling? It is not a Victory Tuesday. It is not a Victory Tuesday. But don't get down. Don't get down. It's a long season. It's only week 2. Well, it was only week 2. Now we're moving into week 3. But say what's up once you're in here. I did see a lot of people saying that they were not going to tune in to a lot of the YouTubers this week because they didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to, didn't really want to go over the game. Didn't really want to focus on what had just happened. But you know what? It's football. It's NFL. Teams are going to lose. It happens. It's part of the game. It's hard to win in the NFL. So don't get down. I think we're going to be okay. But say what's up when you're in here, and we will get things rolling. John Peterson says, go Lions, stay positive. That's right. Mary Peterson, good to see you in here as well. We got the Petersons in here. Love to see it. But like I said, say what's up, everybody, when you get in here, and we'll get it going. I will say this right off the jump. For anybody who's in here, I didn't get the chance to do my normal extensive research and watch the replay of the tape or anything. I was at the game. I worked there for Fox, and I flew there. I had to fly home last night. I got home pretty late. Didn't watch hardly any of, what the analysis were saying. I got to see Dan Campbell's press conference. But didn't see a lot of news because I was flying most of the day yesterday, and I've been sleeping a lot today because I'm still tired. I'm jet lagged. I had a lot of work today, too, before this. So just letting you know how I am today. Had a lot on my plate yesterday. Had a lot on my plate this morning. Didn't have time to really dive into the game as much as I'd like, but I was there. I was there in person. And I'll talk about that a little bit right now while we're letting people get in. I was there as a runner for Fox, basically just doing whatever they wanted me to do, running around. I had to deliver a trash bag of food, goodies, not bad food. That only bag that they had was a trash bag, so there was a bunch of snacks and waters and whatnot in there. I had to deliver that to some Fox executive who was sitting in the crowd. And they appreciated that. I also had to deliver hot dogs to the Fox crew before, like at halftime. But then they were nice enough because they knew I was a Lions fan to let me watch the whole second half without any distractions. I got to watch a lot of the first half as well. But I was working. I was working the game. I'm getting paid. I'm getting paid to be at that Lions game, baby. But yeah, it was, a great experience being there. I got to go down on the field. It was a dream come true, putting my feet down on the turf of Ford Field. Got to see, all the little black pellets that are under there, and even, scraped my shoe across to see it fly up like people do when they juke people. And I almost got hit by a Jake Bates kick when he was warming up. I was walking around, and that almost happened. I saw the whole team walk out of the stadium, or walk out of the tunnel into the stadium. I was walking up while they were walking down. Took every single ounce of energy in me to not be fanboy out and be like, oh my God, St. Brown, J-Mo, all that. But I did point at J-Mo and he gave me the point back. And I really enjoyed that. But besides, it was a great experience working there, but the game was frustrating. Okay. The game was frustrating. So enough about my experience working there. I was at the game on the field, up in the press booth, next to the announcers, standing next to a cameraman. I was a little bit everywhere, but it was a very good experience. Got to go walk through all the back tunnels and everything of Ford Field too, so got to really know what the field's about. But anyways, yes, frustrating loss. 20-16, very close. We had many chances to win. We just couldn't punch it in when we were in the red zone. And I think that's going to be something that we will fix. Yes, we were 1-7 in the red zone. I think that we could have called better plays in the red zone. 1 for 7 doesn't cut it. We ran a lot of screens in the red zone, and I think that one of them would have broke free. I did see a little bit of tape today on that, but Graham Glasgow and Frank Ragnow both blocked the same guy instead of taking the one who took out Jahmyr Gibbs. If somebody would have blocked, if Frank or Graham, I'm not blaming either one. They were both just over there, but somebody missed their assignment. If they would have got that guy, it was just clear daylight for Gibbs to get into the end zone. But, a lot of screens. I thought we should have ran the ball more, but let's go through the game a little bit, okay? I thought that there was a few bad calls, but there was way too many penalty yards on our defense in the first half. It was insane. There was an insane amount. But one of them I will give, Terrion Arnold. I don't think that his pass interference call, that very first one that put them down on the goal line, I personally do not think that was pass interference. They were both going up for the ball. They were fighting for it. It wasn't pass interference. It was a bad call. But still, too many penalty yards on the defense. It's going to come back to bite you. But, yeah, I feel like we were passing the ball too much. I think that asking Goff to throw it 55 times, I think, is what it was. Let me get this exact stat. But it was a ridiculous amount. Yeah, Goff, 34 for 55. 307 yards with 2 touchdowns. Jack Fox, 1 for 1, 17 yards. That was a great play. I love seeing that. That might have been the biggest play of the game for the Lions. But, yeah, asking Goff to throw it 55 times when we're supposed to have one of the most dynamic running back duos and one of the best offensive lines is what they say, is just ridiculous to me. Ben Johnson, he's labeled this guru. I've had his back for, the last few seasons. I like him. I think he's just outsmarting himself right now. He's trying to do too much. Just keep it simple, brother. We got some guys. We got guys who can run the ball. Yes, they were getting through. I don't think that Ragnow and Glasgow, I already talked about them earlier. I don't think that they had the best games. They were kind of giving up a lot of pressure as well on Goff. That's where a lot of the pressure was coming, was right up the middle at those guys. And last year, they were better at that. Zeitler, whatever, he did fine. But Graham and Frank didn't have their best of games. But still, we have to stay true to what we are. We're black and blue team in the black and blue division. Get in there and punch them in their face. Win it in the trenches. Who cares if it's not working a few times? Don't stray away from it. And definitely don't make Goff pass it 55 times when he's not having the best day. So that's just, I'm nitpicking Ben Johnson there. But I think they're going to get it right. We were down in the red zone quite a bit. When you look at the team stats, we had 463 yards against Tampa, 324 passing, 139 rushing. So, those are good numbers. We're still putting up numbers. It's not like we weren't moving the ball. We just couldn't punch it in when it mattered. And then the turnovers killed us, obviously. But, there's still positive. There's a silver lining there. Tampa Bay, they are looking like one of the better teams this year so far. Their defense is always stout. Their coach, that's what he lives off of. He's a defensive-minded guy. I know that they had some guys hurt, but they knew exactly what we were going to do that game. They were ready for it. But we still moved the ball. All we had to do was punch it in. We would have been fine. Dan Campbell, end of the half, bonehead move, also cost us too. But he held himself accountable. He was in the presser. He said, I screwed my guys over. He said that right at the end of half as well. But, it's just a few minor mistakes. And if we clean those up, we win that game. And I thought we could have won that game easy. I also think that they could have done a few better things. But, there was a lot of positives out of this game still. The defense looked good. They did more than enough, definitely, to get that win. Aiden Hutchinson is an absolute beast. Coming into his own, 4.5 sacks. Has more sacks than any other team, like himself, is leading the league in sacks, but he has more sacks than any team with all their combined players. He has 5.5, and the next closest, somebody has 5, but it's their whole team combined. He's an animal. Hutch is going to be wrecking havoc all year, especially with DJ Reader there. Now, DJ Reader, yes, he makes that difference. There was a few other plays. One, Baker did break for a big run, but Wingo almost got to him, and Wingo got through real easy. You want to know why? DJ Reader was drawing the double. This happened all game long. They didn't want Reader to make an impact. They were going to take their chances on Hutch. They did get the win, but Hutch got his. I mean, that's not always going to happen. We're not always going to get hopefully we can win all the rest of our games when we're getting 4.5 sacks from one of our players. We get a nice pick from Brian Branch. I think the defense did more than enough. It was mainly the offense here. They did have a few hiccups, letting Baker run in like that. Those were some nice runs, but Rodrigo, my goodness, you are a highlight reel this week, and not in a good way. You are getting juked out of your shoes by Baker, and yeah, that's I'm sorry, bud, but the Bucks, they only had 216 total yards, 146 passing yards, 70 rushing yards. So our defense did well. Giving up 20 points in the league, it is what it is, but it was mainly penalty yards that killed us, and it started off bad. Like I said, the really bad PI call down in the end zone on Terrion Arnold, who I thought made an excellent play. I mean, they were both fighting for it. The other guy was holding his arm. He put his hand up in his face. There was no pass interference. Both going up for the ball, both fight. There was more than that, though. There was more than that. They do need to clean up their penalties. But there's a lot of positives here. We're not playing our best. Dan Campbell even said it today, or maybe it was yesterday, that he wouldn't be surprised if we don't get the offense fully rolling until after the bye week. He said that's kind of how we started last year, and then they got rolling. And it was true. Against the Chiefs, we came away with a real tight win. Not a lot by the offense. The pick six from Brian Branch is what mattered, but it was a lower scoring game. And then Seattle came in, they whooped us. But whatever. I think we're going to be just fine. We get that red zone stuff cleaned up, we're going to be good to go. Gibbs said it himself, just if everybody on the team locks into details just a little bit more, they're going to be fine. I believe him. We got some games coming up that are going to be tough, but each year that we've been with Dan Campbell as our head coach, as the head coach of the Lions, we've never started off 2-0. As a matter of fact, the Lions haven't been 2-0 to start a season since 2017. So this isn't a big deal. Get the loss out of the way early. It was to a good team, probably a team that's looking like, as of now, they can make the playoffs. They do have a tough matchup over there in their division right now, with the Saints looking good as well, and Atlanta beating Philly last night. But if we're going to lose early, get them out of the way. Like Hutch said, everybody thought we sucked last year after the loss to Seattle. Look what happened after that. And he also said if we'd rather struggle as a team early than later on. They want to get rolling. So that is a good point there. But yeah, don't get down. Don't get down. It's week 2. A ton of football left. It's a long season. It's hard to go undefeated in this league. I know that there are high expectations for this Lions football team, and you could feel it when you were there in the crowd. I mean, people were way disappointed after the loss, as they should be. I mean, it's a loss, but it seemed a little bit more than normal. But what can you do? We want to win every game at home. Not going to happen. Didn't happen. We got to move on. Put it behind us as fans. The team's already putting it behind them. They're staying confident. So we got to keep our faith and not lose our crap over one bad game. Goff didn't look the best. He does this. He does this every year. We have this conversation every single year. He'll have a few games where he's not looking like the guy we should have paid. But then he gets it going. They start rolling. And then we're all like, Jared Goff, Jared Goff, Jared Goff. So I think we're going to see that. Don't get down. It's not panic mode yet. We're 1-1. You saw around the league how many other teams that were considered top teams who lost this week. So don't panic. We're going to be fine. I do like how Dan Campbell did blame himself. He held himself accountable. Jared Goff also came on to the presser after that and said when you have a coach who holds himself accountable, a guy at the top, it makes it easier for everybody else to do that as well. So good leadership still there. I think they're going to bounce back. I'm not worried yet. But a few things I would have done different. I already talked about run the ball a lot more with David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't know why we aren't. Speaking of Jahmyr Gibbs, he almost broke one there late. Well, he did break one, but he almost got to the end zone. The stadium, they thought he scored. I didn't. I saw him step out of bounds, but the majority of the people there did not see him step out of bounds, and they all thought he got to the end zone because he kept going. And let me tell you, when they found out that he didn't, that might have been a killer right there. The energy in the stadium kind of dropped because they were going crazy when he broke that, stepped out of bounds, got pushed out of bounds, almost took it to the house. But the whole stadium, at least everybody around me, thought that he had gotten in. And it was a huge celebration to just silence. It's pretty crazy. But it was an awesome experience being there, regardless if we lost. But I'll do you guys a favor. I won't go to any more games this year unless I get called to work. But so we can get up some more dubs. I've probably been to about 6 or 7 Lions games, maybe more, and I've never seen them win in person. So I will not go to any more this year so we can get those W's that we are searching for. All right, it's been long enough. Let me go over to the comments now. You guys are going off. I love to see it. Derwin Chambers, good to see you in here. What's up, bro? I am so disappointed in Goff performance. Yes, I mean, it was bad. It wasn't the best. He was forcing things. Dan Campbell says he was trying to do too much. He was. He was also given a lot of responsibility by being called to pass the ball 55 times. I don't think Goff should ever have to pass it 55 times. He did it last year against Tampa. That's because Montgomery went out and Gibbs wasn't into his own yet. So I think Ben Johnson needs to take a little bit of the blame as well. He needs to look at himself in the mirror and be like, we got this offensive line who's supposed to be one of the top lines. They're not looking like it right now. They're definitely not looking like one of those top offensive lines right now. So they need to step it up big time. But trust those guys and trust your running game because that's how we do it. We set up the run. We set up the play action. And that's when we go to work and we start cooking. So I hope that Ben just looks himself in the mirror, dials up a better game plan next week because we're going to need it, and doesn't put 55 passes on Jared Goff. But I do think that Goff will bounce back. He has these games. Hopefully he's getting them out early on because last year was middle of the season. The season before that, it was a lot of the season. But his first year was a lot. But I'm saying every year he has a few bad games where he's just not himself. Hopefully he's getting them out of the way right now. But yes, Derwin Chambers, wasted Hutch, best game. I told you he was going to go off, and I didn't think he would get 3 sacks in the first quarter. Definitely wasted Hutch's best game. I don't know how you get that many sacks, especially from one guy, and you don't come up with a win. But football's football. It's crazy. But it's good to know that Hutchinson is in this form. Reader there is going to help out all year long. Marcus Davenport wasn't there. Didn't even matter. James Houston played 2 snaps. Didn't matter. But I like what they're doing. I think it's going to work out in the long run here. Derwin, it went awesome working for the game. You probably heard me talking about it. I'm catching up on these comments right now. MSU Detroit fan, greats. Aiden Hutchinson and Jake Bates. Yeah. Meh. DJ Reader, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Meh. DJ Reader, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Terrion Arnold, bad. Jared Goff, Ben Johnson. I don't think DJ Reader did bad. He was drawing a ton of the doubles. From what I saw, I mean, that's the reason why Hutch was getting loose. So I think DJ Reader did his job. He's going to get better. He hasn't played football in a very long time. He's been hurt. So for his first appearance, to let Hutch cook, to let him get loose, I think he did his job. I I think he'll be better. Yeah, he's going to be wrecking havoc a little bit more. He could be better. But just the fact that he was drawing doubles to let Hutch get the one-on-one for a while and then get in there and get to the quarterback. And Hutch was getting doubled too, and he was beating them both. But I think that made a huge difference. So I'm going to disagree with you on the meh for DJ Reader. Amon-Ra St. Brown still put up good numbers. You know, he did have a few drops. He was hurt. I don't know if there were drops more than good breakups. They were on him, though. You know, they were doubling him. They were over 2 men over the top of Laporta, which Laporta didn't do hardly anything at all. But like I said, they had a few men. They had a guy kind of over the top of him. Number 3, I forget who that is for the Bucs, but he had every play sniffed out for us. He was in the backfield every run. He knew every single time we were going to run. He knew every single time we were going to pass, and he was all over the field for them. But yeah, Goff and Ben Johnson, I will agree with you that they were both bad. Terrion Arnold, he's a rookie. He needs to stop the penalties, but the one I will say was not a penalty, but that face mask at the end was a killer. MSU Detroit fan, bad Marcus Davenport. He's not the answer at the other edge rusher to Hutch. I don't even think he played. He was hurt. Derwin Chambers. We need to use our big targets in the red zone. Throw it up to Sam, that new big guy from Denver. Yes, Tim Patrick. So that was Tim Patrick's first action, and he caught a few balls. He had one really nice 1-yard reception where he threw the Tampa guy to the ground. The crowd went crazy for that. And yeah, it was only a 1-yard gain, but, you know, they love the grit. And Dan Campbell said that they are now going to work him in more, find a bigger role for Tim Patrick moving forward. So it's going to be Tim Patrick out there who I think won that job. Allen Robinson, haven't seen him out there yet. Of course, Donovan Peoples-Jones, still practice squad, but it looks like Tim Patrick has earned that spot of the ex-wide receiver. So good on him, because I kind of like what I'm seeing so far. He didn't do a lot, but he hasn't been there that long. I think it'll start to click, and we'll get it rolling. But yes, Tim Patrick from Denver in there now. Derwin Chambers. Get the likes up, y'all. Did you see how big Hutch is in person? Yes, I did. Okay, so that was the thing. That blew my mind when I was down there on the field, when they were all walking past me. I stood next to Dan Campbell, not next to him, but close enough for a second. Dan Campbell's massive, but Hutch is a beast. I mean, you don't really know how big these guys are until you stand next to them or you're close to them. And yeah, I felt like a tiny little boy standing next to Hayden Hutchinson or walking by him. I didn't stand next to him. If I stood next to him, it would have been, I wouldn't have been able to hold in my excitement. Rick, good to see you in here. Yes, we're catching up to the comments here. Offense will get it together. We started 1-1 last season too. You're right. We just need to take the Cardinals serious next week because they are looking good so far. And Derwin Chambers, I'm going right into your comment. The Cardinals game gonna be tough as well. We need to run the offense through D-Mon. Yes, Monty is somebody who, you know, Gibbs is the flashy one. I like to see Gibbs get the ball. But we really have to bully these other teams, and we have to wear them out. And the running back who's going to do that is Montgomery. Now, there were a lot of runs where I think they were trying to set some things up this last week, too, that were getting stuffed. And then he kind of went away from everything. So I don't want to see that. I want to see him stick to the run. And I've already said it a million times this year. Don't let Goff pass it 55 times. Don't let him pass it 55 times. We don't need to. It's not necessary. It's not necessary, but we do definitely need to take the Cardinals very seriously next week. And yeah, we'll get into that here in a little bit. John Peterson, I believe OC sometimes outsmarts himself. Laugh out loud. Yes, you are correct about that. He's just trying to be too much sometimes. He does have a lot of good schemes set up. He's got a lot of, crazy plays, different blocking schemes that help guys get open. But sometimes you just need to keep it simple, just like you said. And I think that he was a little overzealous on his play calling. It was not a good day for Ben Johnson at all. Rick, crap call, talking about that pass interference, I think. MSU Detroit fan, there was too many moments when they would throw when a run would have been better and vice versa. Exactly. It was just bad play calling. It was not typical Ben Johnson. But get it out of the way early. Let's get our groove back, boys. Because right now, that last game, that's not how we do. That was not a Lions team that we're used to under Dan Campbell the last 2 years. And it's not the Lions team that we've been expecting. But let them work out their kinks early. Let's get this loss out of the way. It's kind of humbling, right? We all had huge expectations. I'm talking about humbling for fans, too. The team's humbled, but they're still confident. They're ready to go. Fans lost their crap because we're expecting Super Bowl, or we think we got the team to do that. So a loss is always going to come hard, especially at home early against the Bucs team that maybe not a lot of people thought were going to be good this year, but they're looking really good. And I'll say this too. It's really hard to beat a team 3 times within a year. And, that's, I don't know if it's been within a year, but it's pretty close. We played them early on in the season last year. Then we played them in the playoffs. We beat them both those times. This is the 3rd time in a short amount of time. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. So they got us back, one of them. But trust, if we see them again, especially in the postseason, I think we get that dub. And I think we get it easy. So don't get mad. Don't lose it. Don't lose your cool. Don't lose your head. All right. Rick, terrible play calling by Ben Johnson was the biggest problem. Goff is great with a good run game. Goff sucks when he has to throw the ball 55 times. So we're on the same page. We're on the same exact page. It's the truth. He needs that play action. He doesn't need it, but it helps tremendously. So get the run game going. I don't care how long it takes. Don't shy away from our bread and butter, from our rhythm and brews, baby. We got to get D-Money and Gibbs going, and we got to keep rolling with them. Then you do a little play action. You got J-Mo over the top for an easy 6. Come on. I will say before we get too far, Jameson Williams still impressing me. Look at this. Now, this is a statistic that's crazy. And hopefully it pans out to where he's like the majority of these guys on this list. But listen to this. The only wide receivers, and this is from Detroit Lions PR, so shout out Detroit Lions PR. But it says the only wide receivers in NFL history to total 200-plus receiving yards and 25-plus rushing yards through the first 2 games of a season are Lions wide receiver Jameson Williams in 2024. That's this year. Santana Moss in 2008. Larry Fitzgerald in 2005. Isaac Bruce in 1998. Jerry Rice in 1989. And Homer Jones in 1967. So a very, very small list with some pretty big names there. Larry Fitzgerald, Jerry Rice, I don't know if he's going to be on their level. But he's in good company with that list, and I'm liking what J-Mo's doing. I think that we missed J-Mo on a few things. I think that he missed a route as well, or something was off on one of them, and would have been a pretty easy walk-in touchdown if they connected there. At least what it looked like from my view, but still I'm liking how Jameson Williams is stepping up, becoming a big part of this offense. For sure. MSU Detroit fan, another game when Khalif Raymond was MIA. Yeah, it was nice to see Tim Patrick get some targets, but Raymond is your Josh Reynolds replacement at wide receiver 3. Raymond doesn't have the size to be the Josh Reynolds replacement at wide receiver 3. He's definitely a different type of wide receiver. I do think that they need to get him the ball more, but if you're looking for him to replace Reynolds, that's not it. He's a different type of wide receiver. But they did try to get him a little screen. It didn't work. I think the last play where we passed it way too short of the end zone, and Goff just threw it in the dirt or in Tom Kennedy's shoes. I think they were going to do a little like hook and ladder. They were going to give it to Tom Kennedy. He was going to pitch it to Khalif because I saw Khalif coming this way. And maybe he would have got the game-winning touchdown. But I would like to see him worked into the offense more, like you're saying. He can definitely do that wide receiver 3 role. I'm not doubting him. I'm not putting him down, and I'm not calling you wrong. I just don't think that he is the same type of receiver that Josh Reynolds was. Josh Reynolds is much longer, lengthy, X type of receiver, when Khalif is more of, slot where Amon-Ra plays. But he can get loose. He's fast. I like Leaf. I'm not hating on him. But I will tell you something that I did see with Leaf that I also made me frustrated in his defense is when he was returning kicks, they kept putting Tom Kennedy back there too. Just put Khalif Raymond back there by himself. You don't need Tom Kennedy back there because they're going to kick it to him every single time. And the one time they kicked it in the middle, they didn't have any communication. They ran into each other, and Tom Kennedy caught it, and he ran it out to the 18 or 20. He's not the returner. Get him out of there. Just have Khalif Raymond back there. Tom Kennedy has no business being back there as the returner. I'm sorry. That's just all I got to say about that. And I'm sorry, MSU Detroit fan, that we are. I mean, I'm not, we got to agree to disagree on some things, but the majority of the time we agree. Rick, I'm not worried at all. Defense is way better, and our offense will get it together. Yeah, they will, and the defense does look a lot better. Giving up 20 points to that team. Godwin got his. Mike Evans still did some work. We shut down that run game, though, and like I said, the total offense for the Bucs. Let me go over this one more time, so everybody understands that we did put up good numbers and we did stop them. We just didn't score enough in the red zone. And, of course, that end of halftime play where Dan Campbell sent out the kick team when they should have just let them spike it, that cost us. But the Bucs only had 216 total yards. And if it weren't for penalties and turnovers, they're not getting 20 points. So I agree with you. That defense is picking it up, and the offense will definitely get better. Mike A., you can lose 7 to 8 games and get in the playoffs. That's 100% true. All we have to do is get into the playoffs. I mean, I definitely want to win a division, and it's still wide open. As you can see, scrolling across right now, the NFC North standings, the Vikings are 2-0, which is kind of shocking. But then everything else is, Lions 1-1, Bears 1-1, Packers 1-1. It's so early right now. We don't know how many wins or losses everybody's going to get. We don't know. The Vikings could lose the rest of their games from here on out. So could the Saints and the Bucs. But, they're not looking like that's going to happen, of course. But, yeah, you can still lose a good amount of games and make it in the playoffs and make a run. It's all about getting hot at the right time. We don't need to panic. Like how you pointed that out there, Mike. Rick, we'd be having a completely different discussion if Gibbs doesn't get pushed out of bounds, even with the offense play like crap all game. Exactly. And he knew it. He was frustrated. But like I said, man, when I was there, that whole stadium thought that he scored. And, oh, man, it was such a killer when they found out that he didn't. And I kept telling people, I was like, hold on. He didn't get in. They're like, what? Yeah, he did. What are you talking? And then, they're like, wait, he didn't get in. And I was like, told you, man. Come on, let's go. Let's get that energy back up. Don't die because he didn't get in there. But no, I ain't blaming the fans. They were great. That was such a loud atmosphere. It was so cool to be in there during a time that we're good. The only other times I've seen the Lions play, they've been really bad. As Patricia era was one of the games. They were in San Francisco. It was kind of close, but it wasn't. The other times were on Thanksgiving. I saw Peyton Manning torch us with the Colts. I saw Mike Vick with Atlanta torch us. I saw Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers for the Packers beat us. I saw Joey Harrington come back with the Dolphins and beat us. Yes, but like my grandfather says, that's John Peterson. If you didn't know, John Peterson is my family. He said, so you're the jinx. That's what they like to call me. But no, I don't think I am. And just for that, I'm going to all the rest of the games this year now. Donkey Kong, the game was awful. Ben's plan sucked. Yes, the game was awful. You can't blame it all on Goff. I mean, he did make a big difference. Some of those could have been, some of his passes could have been picked and they would have been pick six. I don't know what he was thinking on some of those throws. They weren't even close to our Lions players. And the one pick that he had was, there wasn't a Lions player within 10 yards. I think it just went straight to Tampa. I don't know what that was, but can't blame it all on Goff. There's a lot to go around. They could have won that game. They had so many chances. But Goff is a reason that they definitely lost that game. All right. I think I skipped. Oh, yeah, here we go. MSU Detroit fan. Goff threw a lot against Tampa last year because Gibbs and Monty were both dealing with injuries, so Craig Reynolds was the main. Yeah, so that's what I think I said that earlier. I'm just catching up. I'm catching up to the comments. But, yeah, he did pass a lot last year because of the injuries to our running back room. But this year we didn't have that problem, so I don't understand why they went and tried to do the same plan as last year. Yeah, we beat them, but it was an ugly win that way too, and we didn't put up a lot of points. So come on, Ben. It's time to get that running game going, buddy. I put more on Ben Johnson than anyone else, and I agree with you, Rick. I agree with you. I think Ben, like John Peterson said earlier, he outsmarts himself sometimes. He gets too cute. He thinks that he's got to be this guru all the time when he just needs to keep it simple and let our guys go out there and do work, do what they do. We got some of the best personnel out there. Let them do what they do. Let them go to work. You don't need to get crazy with everything. You don't need to have, the most unpredictable call, even though they knew what we were going to do. So, yeah. MSU Detroit fan, the Bucks hired Connor Stallions. It seemed that way. I love how you brought that up, MSU Detroit fan, because you're an MSU fan. And that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Wouldn't shock me the way that their defense was on us. I mean, but I'm not gonna say that they did that. But they knew something. They knew something. Donkey Kong. Ben's plan was terrible. However, Goff was the one skipping passes across the turf, and two of them wrong team. Yeah, he was not his best. They weren't together collectively. They were not good. I will give you that for sure. I couldn't believe how Goff was throwing it. Maybe his arm was tired. I mean, I don't know. He's a pro quarterback. He should be able to handle it, but he shouldn't be asked to throw it 55 times when we have the run game that we do. MSU Detroit fan Tim Patrick and Khalif Raymond definitely need to be utilized more. Yes. Okay, so we talked about Leaf a little bit, and I agree. Like, I do think that he needs the ball more, but they need to find it in different ways. There's ways you can get him the ball, and he can be that wide receiver 3. But I just, like we said earlier, I just don't think we use him the same as Reynolds. I see Tim Patrick more as that guy, and I think they're going to work him in a lot more. Just like Dan Campbell did say, they're going to find a role for Tim Patrick moving forward. So expect him to stay on the 53-man roster. I don't know if they announced that yet or if they're going to or when they have to announce that. I know tomorrow is the injury report, and we'll talk some injuries here too that happened. Alex Anzalone left the game with a concussion, didn't come back. They did say he was there at the practice facility on Monday, and he was in much better spirits, said he's feeling a lot better. But when you're a concussion protocol, you had a concussion, there's just no timetable for that. So we don't know when we're getting Anzalone back. It could be this week, maybe next week, but we need Anzalone back. He is the captain out there. Jack Campbell, I'm not sure if, he did do well in the run game. He was stepping up. I don't know if it was him or Terrion Arnold who was to blame on that Chris Godwin touchdown. It looked like Terrion moved over with Mike Evans, but then Jack kind of panicked. It looked like Jack kind of panicked and was like, oh, I got to get out here and cover Godwin now. So I don't know if it was a miscommunication, if Jack Campbell was supposed to be on him the whole time. If he was, that was a terrible blown assignment. And same for Terrion Arnold. If he was supposed to be over there and he left him to go to Mike Evans, then that's on him. So there was just a miscommunication there. That's the only bad thing I'll have to say about Jack Campbell, because I think other than that, I think Jack Campbell did great stepping in. And Derek Barnes rushing the quarterback, he made a difference too. Derek Barnes had a nice play there at the end. I wish that after he tipped it up that he would have seen where it was and picked it and got the touchdown. But, it shoulda, coulda, woulda, But I think the defense is looking much better. I'm hoping Anzalone gets back there soon, though. And then, of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown dealing with an injury all game, but Dan Campbell says it's a soft tissue thing, that he'll be good to go. He'll be out there next week, so not really a big concern there. Last year he played the whole season with an oblique injury and a broken toe or something. I don't know. He was going through a lot last year. What was it? Foot, mouth, some disease. I forget that one, whatever that is. He was going through that as well. So he's a tough guy. He'll be out there and he'll play. And then Terrion Arnold broke his finger or something. They said he's going to be fine. So no huge injuries other than the Anzalone concussion where that might keep him out this week. I hope not because, I would like to have Anzalone there. But that's the only significant one that I could see as of now. I mean, Amon-Ra would be very significant, but he's going to play. He's going to be back. So nothing to worry about there, says Dan Campbell. Rick says the first interception was due to PI that didn't get called. Should have been called back, definitely. That was a bad no call. They definitely got there early. I agree with you. That pick was not on Goff, but there were other ones that Tampa missed. Like a guy had dropped a wide open pick. That was just terrible on Goff. There was a few other throws that I was like, what are you doing? No. They didn't get picked. And then, of course, that one over the middle that was pretty bad. But, yes, you were right. That first one was definitely not on Jared Goff. Hatter's House, you got here late. We gave this game away. Ben Johnson, Goff, and MCDC. Oh, he said, yo, got here late. Not you got here late. I was like, I've been here the whole time. What do you mean? Hatter's House got here late. We gave this game away. Ben Johnson, Goff, and MCDC better fix their issues. Yeah, and that's who I've been talking about. It's mainly on those guys. Dan held himself accountable. We haven't heard from Ben Johnson yet. He'll be there on Thursday to talk to the media. So I'm interested to see what kind of questions get asked on, maybe they'll just move forward or maybe they'll ask him about his play calls and whatnot. But I'm interested to see that press conference here coming this Thursday because I want to know what Ben Johnson is thinking and what was going through his mind during the game and why he was making his calls. I don't know if he'll answer that. But Dan Campbell, like I said, already took accountability and so did Goff. I think they'll step it up. They'll get it together. Just don't have Goff pass it 55 times. I said it a million times already. Rick, Campbell didn't send out the kicking team. That was special teams error. That's why Dan was so mad. He ain't going to throw Phipp or anyone under the bus. He'll hold himself accountable every time publicly. Yeah, I mean, he did right at the half, though, said he screwed his team over. It probably was more Phipp. I thought that he did say that he sent him out. He said that they've been working all week. Or that they've been through it, they ran through it, they know what to expect, and the team was out there ready to do their thing, and he messed up and sent the team out there. If it was actually Phipp, which I'm with you. I think that it was more that than Dan Campbell. Then that's great on Dan Campbell to take that blame. That's a real true leader right there, and that's what you love out of your coach. But either way, whoever it's on, don't let that happen again. And why? Look at the clock. And look at our team getting ready to clock it. There's no need to do a rush field goal. Clock it. Anyways, let the mistakes happen early and fix it and start rolling, baby. MSU Detroit fan watching on TV. I saw him step out. I was hoping replay would show Gibbs inbounds, but he wasn't, which was a big killer. The small things turns into huge problems. Yeah, it was it was a killer, especially being there too. I mean, I saw him step out. I thought he did. I saw him let up afterwards, but he went all the way to the end zone. But yeah, I was hoping when they showed that replay that I was wrong and the fans were right, and it was just a killer, man. It was a huge momentum, or just the crowd momentum killer, because they were so into it. Everybody was hyped, and then he didn't get there, and it just got silent. It was just kind of like, oh crap, now what do we do? And I was like, we just keep going. Come on. Oh, I know, MSU Detroit fan. I should not have said the guy's name, J.H. I'll say his name one more time, Joey Harrington, but that's the last time I'll say it this year and maybe ever again. But, yeah, it was sad to see that. I can tell you that. Hatter's House. Should have tried the 58-yard field goal that was on Dan. We should have definitely tried a few different things. Should have done a bunch of different things. MSU Detroit fan, yeah, Bates can do 50+. That's part of the reason why fans were so adamant on signing him. Yeah, give him a shot. Give him a shot. It's going to have to come down to it eventually. There's going to be a game where we're going to be down 1 or 2. We're going to have the ball way back there. It's going to be like a 58-yard field goal, and Jake Bates is going to have to go out there and nail it. I think he will, but put him in those situations earlier so when it really, really matters, he's ready to go and he's not a nervous wreck. I agree. Should have let him kick that one. Rick says, I agree on that one, HH. That was a good test for his leg. He's talking to Hatter's house. Yeah, we all agree right there. We all agree. MSU Detroit fan, I would say have Branch and Arnold switch positions since it's hard to be a cornerback with one hand. I wouldn't mind. I think he could definitely play some safety, some nickel. And it's hard for, especially a rookie cornerback to come in here trying to learn the game at the same time with a broken hand. We play a lot of man. They're going to press. And with a broken hand or a broken finger, that's not going to be as easy. We'll get the full diagnosis here tomorrow on exactly what it is. He says it's a finger thing, so I don't think it's as big of an issue, but they did put like a brace on it or a cast on it right away. You saw it. It was big and bulky on that hand. But that might not be a bad move. We'll see what AG has in store for us coming this week. Hatter's house, going to run the ball more. Got to run the ball more. Yep, definitely. If it's under 25 seconds, the field goal team shouldn't be an option. No. Clock it. Gotcha. But yeah, it was a frustrating game. But we got to look on the bright side. There was a lot of positives. Hutch looked great. The defense did more than enough to get that W. We were moving the ball. Like I said, 463 total yards, 324 passing yards, 139 rushing yards. Those are good numbers. It's just we weren't getting it in the red zone. We weren't doing the things that we were so good at a year ago. We did have a very high red zone win rate last year compared to what we have this year so far, but they will clean it up. Don't panic. We're 2 weeks in. You saw what the Niners did, but they're banged up. Cowboys got blown out. Eagles lost. A lot of teams lost who a lot of people were expecting to win. The Ravens are 0-2. Be thankful we aren't 0-2. Now, we do have some tough games coming up. And let's get into next week's game. This week now, we have the Arizona Cardinals, and we go in on the road to take on Kyler Murray and them. This one's going to be tough. Last week we were talking about this might be a trap game. Well, now it's a you better be prepared because they're looking kind of good, and we better have our together because Kyler Murray came out cooking last week, and he's going to scramble around. He's going to do his try to do his shifty moves, extend the play, find Marvin Harrison, but we've done well in the past at containing Kyler Murray, so I hope that we can do it again. We have to come up with a pretty good defensive plan, and the offense needs to show up. We need to get a turnover or two, and I definitely want to see them run the ball more. I've been saying that this whole entire episode, but run the ball. Run the ball. Rhythm and bruise. It's our bread and butter, baby. Just wear them down, use some play action, go over the top, and we'll be fine. But yeah, how are you guys feeling about this week? I want to know your predictions. I want to know if you think we're going to win. You can put the score there if you want. I see this as a get-right game for the offense, and we're going to bounce back. I know before people were going to say it was a trap game. Well, can't be now. We're 1-1. We better take this one very seriously. And I think we do. And I think we bounce back. And we win 28-24. I got us winning 28-24 on the road. I think it's going to be very close. But no matter what, we have to win one of the next two. And I hope we come out 2-0 out of the next two games before the bye week. But we got Arizona and Seattle. I didn't think Arizona was going to be looking as good as they are. I don't think their defense is as good as, their offense. Their offense is clicking right now. But they did well last week. So we'll see how it goes. It's not going to be easy. No game in the NFL is going to be easy, especially for the Lions this year. We have a way tougher schedule, and everybody's gunning for us. We aren't the underdogs. They want to put us down, but it's not going to happen. Like I said, I got us winning 28-24 in a close battle, and I got Monty going for a touchdown, Gibbs going for 2, and Laporta picking up his first of the year, baby. That's just what I got going on. But yeah, let me know what you think is going to happen this Sunday. And if you have any more questions, we are approaching the hour mark. And I have to go work at the local college today right after this. So we're going to shut it down at the hour. But get your comments in, get your score predictions in. It's been a good episode, but not a Victory Tuesday. But it's okay. Stay positive, people. It's a long season. We're only in week 2. We got a lot to improve on. We originally did. But, what's happening? I think I'm cutting out here. Oh, there we go. I had no data for a second. That's weird. Anyways, yeah, I think we'll be just fine moving forward. Yep, buffering. I don't know what that was. All right, Rick says offense gets going this week and defense shows more improvement. No score prediction, Lions win. I like it. John Peterson's Lions win and score more than 16 points. That's what I hope for as well. I hope we get to the 30s. I have us at 28 right now, but Dan Campbell, I said it earlier, and Dan Campbell had mentioned that he wouldn't be shocked if we don't get the offense really, truly rolling until after the bye week. I don't want to wait until then because we got Arizona and Seattle coming up, but you know, it's better to get the struggles out of the way early rather than start to struggle as a team late, just like Aiden Hutchinson said. Okay, y'all. Okay. Hatter's House says it's good. Rick says you were lagging for a few seconds. Yeah, I saw that. I don't know what the heck that was. I don't know. I hear there's a few internet issues in the air today where I'm at, but it seems like the stream went well for most of the time. And we're going to end it on this. Lions going to win 28-24. I'm calling it. I don't care if it's 28-24. I just hope that they win. And we're back here next Tuesday, like every Tuesday. But I hope next Tuesday's a Victory Tuesday. But yeah, if there's no more questions, if there's no more things to be said, let's put this one behind us. Look at the positives. Ben Johnson, Jared Goff, and Dan Campbell will clean up their act. But there's a lot of positives to look at out of this game, even though we lost. That's the negative, and that's a big negative. It sucks. It sucks losing. I hate losing weeks. I can't wait till Sunday so they can make it up. But yeah, y'all, I'll be here next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Detroit time, 4 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. on the West Coast. I hope you all have a great day. Let's get this dub next week. Don't panic. We gonna be just fine. Peace, y'all.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions!